in studio, Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
He walks in, I gotta be honest with you, I'm like, oh my God, we're all in trouble.
Yeah, he's become kind of that guy that walks in somewhere and you don't want to see. It used to be, so a reporter from, I guess, 60 Minutes would be the guy that would walk in and you'd go, oh boy.
Mike
now
Wallace.
You're the guy. It's kind of like, oh no, what did I do? Hey, give my mic.
Oh boy.
Jesus, Opie.
I got the mics on. Hello? Nope.
I walk in,
Try that one.
That one will work.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. Every time I walk into a place, people kind of go the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to, oh, what did I do? I can't.
Well, imagine being one of my kids when something happens. I said, come on in here and have a seat over there.
Yeah, why don't you have a seat over there? It really is. I've noticed a lot of these guys, now to catch a predator is just huge. I mean, got to be very high rated at this point. Everyone knows about it.
If you had asked me when we got this started if we'd still be doing it, I wouldn't have believed it. I mean, I figured we'd do it 2 or 3 times and we'd end up, with me just pacing the kitchen and looking like the Maytag repairman with nothing to do. But in fact, that's not what's happened. And we get guys who keep coming. We get guys who talk about the show in the chat.
Yeah.
And show up anyway.
Yeah, my favorites are when you actually have the photos of the guys, a little pixelation, and it's like you sent this photo along, and the guy's just like, yeah, that's me. What can you say at that point? It's so embarrassing.
Who knew that so many people were sending photos like this back and forth? I had no clue.
No.
I didn't know that so many people were hooking up, much less having these kind of conversations.
Yeah, legitimately hooking up. Yeah, there's things going on.
Yeah. I mean, who knew? I didn't.
I don't know. I go to, various news websites.
We did the first one of these, and I was stuck in traffic trying to get over the Throgs Neck Bridge, wondering, gosh, should I just waste tens of thousands of dollars of NBC's money? The producer gets on the phone and says, I got 2 guys you do here in 40 minutes. Get here. And from then on, it just was, guys are running into each other.
So amazing.
You have caught a lot of people, and it's obviously a great thing. You're catching pedophiles, and I know it's discouraging people because a lot of people probably don't do it because they don't want to get busted. What kind of negative reaction? There has to be somebody complaining about it.
Yeah, there are people who think, okay, you should have done it 2 or 3 times, and you made your point. There are people, for instance, in Texas who were critical because they didn't want us doing this investigation in their neighborhood. I would argue that we made that the safest neighborhood in Texas that weekend.
Yeah.
I would argue that we have a lot of security and precautions in place, so everything was safe. I would argue that we are covering a continuing story, and we don't do just one story on the war on terror or the war in Iraq or the economy or the fuel efficiency in vehicles. We're not going to do just one story on this issue either.
Yeah, this isn't going away. It's
well,
not something that's, it's fixed. We can't do a story on it anymore.
I mean, what we've done is, take the same hidden camera techniques that we used in Cambodia for child sex tourism or in India for child slave labor in the silk business, and we turned it towards the issue of computer predators.
Hey, I got to just... Oh, go ahead. Answer that.
No, I was just going to say...
I got an interesting call. I want to make sure you
Sure, absolutely. It's just like, you got to teach your kids not to give out all kinds of information on their social networking sites. I mean, these predators, for instance, whether it's a financial predator or a computer sexual predator, these guys are really good at taking bits and pieces from a kid's MySpace and getting into a conversation and grooming the kid over a period of weeks and finding out where they are and setting up a meeting. One of the things is we say be careful of strangers. But some of these predators are so good at developing a relationship, the kid doesn't think it's a stranger.
You built up like an outline of what this kid's about, interests, and now you can kind of talk like you're interested in the same things.
And kids have to know that, that these guys are out there.
Hey, I got an observation. You have a way of looking at people. You're not looking at my soul, are you? Anyone else getting a little paranoid as he just looks deep into your eyes when he talks? It's like, look, man, I have nothing to hide.
All right. Well,
keep your hands
Opie, you barely have nothing to hide.
Like, why is he looking so intensely at me, man?
In that first investigation, I believe there's only one case that was prosecuted, and that was a New York City firefighter who surfaced in the investigation.
Yeah.
But it did destroy, part of their life. I'm sure it gave him that little kick in the ass not to do it again, perhaps. I don't know. It seems like you're ruining your life.
Well, I think in some cases it probably has. I mean, it's a wake-up call for some of these guys.
Unless you're a lonely, creepy guy in a one-room apartment, with the neon hotel light blinking outside. A lot of these guys have families, jobs that, would just be completely destroyed.
Well, people always ask, what's the profile of one of these guys? Well, as you've seen in the stories, and we talk about it in the book, these are guys who come from mainstream American movies. Now, we get, our percentage of creepy-looking fellas, don't get me wrong, but the vast majority of them do not have the word predator tattooed on their forehead.
Were there any times that you felt like you were really in the room with like a sociopath, like a real problem who could be a problem for you, or you're in danger?
We've had, I don't know, a couple of tense moments. In California, a military guy was there, and he'd already taken off his shirt, for the hot tub, and walked around and saw us, and we were face to face, and there was a split second there where I thought, this guy is thinking about whacking me. I mean, and he's got the guns to do it, and it was quiet for a minute. I said, come on, let's talk over there. Let's just sit right down over there. And he calmed down, and we had a long conversation about the whole thing.
Well, you do come across, and I think a lot of these guys think you're a cop. When you come out, you don't identify yourself as an officer, but
and you don't see cameras there.
Yeah. I think it's the way you carry yourself, and you kind of you take control of the situation. You tell them, hey, sit down. You're kind of, presenting yourself as an authority figure, and I think that helps out.
Well, I think some of these guys think I might be with law enforcement. I don't try to be that way. I think some think I might be the father. We've had that. Tell your daughter I'm sorry, I would never do this, or tell your son. But
your daughter's a slut.
Mike in Queens. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I got a couple of questions for Chris regarding his show. I mean, I'm all for prosecuting predators and stuff, but it's kind of like not realistic. He never mentions about his decoys, what they're saying to entice these guys into these chats. They really don't mention how they get them. And also, in real case scenarios where children are talking to these predators and stuff, he really doesn't bring up the point that their level of responsibility for that. I mean, hundreds of thousands of children out there are talking like this to people as a form of entertainment, and they're enjoying it, and with the MySpace and all that stuff like that. And it's like, and even Chris, he's doing this in a form of entertainment with his sarcasm and wisecracks. We laugh at it. I love watching the show, but I watch it for the entertainment value, not the shock value of it.
Well, I'll say a couple of things on that. One, when these decoys from Perverted Justice set up in a chat room, they have a profile that includes a picture that's unmistakably underage. They never make the first move. The guy always makes the first move.
Always.
And in the vast majority of cases, the guy is the one who first brings up sex. So that takes care of the one issue. In terms of me being a little creative with the questions, I think sometimes that gets a more detailed response from these guys.
All right, Mike. I'm sorry you're disappointed that he's
I'm not disappointed.
pedophiles out there.
Hey, let me tell you.
About all these 6-year-olds,
Mike, I'm going to look forward to seeing you on the show.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
We got to leave it there. Go ahead, Jimmy.
The book is called To Catch a Predator. It's just great stuff. Protecting your kids from online enemies in your home. It's a lot more detailed than the show is, obviously. And Chris Hansen, man, you do a great thing.
Thanks, guys. Really,
thank you.
Pleasure being here.
Thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Barry from Pittsburgh. Chris Hansen would be a fun guy to hire to do a surprise birthday party. Can you imagine? Have the guest of honor walk into an unfamiliar place and then have Chris greet him. That would be hilarious.
Why don't you sit down and have some birthday cake?
And just before he has a heart attack, surprise! What do you got, Ant?
Here for sign.